Hey, thank you for joining me. This is the Ox Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Big Book, aka Ox. And before I get started, do me a favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell for me. It'll alert you when I drop anything new. And when you do get it, please, if you like, share the video. If you like it, share it. Now, before we get started, it looks like Michigan has an identity. You make a quarterback change and you have an identity. Now, it may be it may be an identity that needs some tweaking. Definitely does. Because you can't do what you're doing. You can't sustain that and get to where you want to go. It just won't happen. Very, 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 very good game. Very interesting game. Very exciting game. Michigan pulls out a 27-24 win over USC. Touchdown with just a couple seconds left. And everybody feels better. It's amazing what one score can do, what one win can do, especially when you make a quarterback change. But before that, I do want to send out thoughts and prayers to Makai Lemon. He was injured in the game, I believe, in the third quarter. He had to be taken to the hospital in Ann Arbor. But from what I've gathered, everything seems okay. And that's the most important part. Because even though they're the away team and they're the enemy for that day, we definitely don't want anybody to be hurt. So prayers go out to his family and also the young man, the tight end who hurt himself. I think his name is McRae. If I got your name wrong, please forgive me. But, you know, we're praying that he's okay along with Will Johnson, who went out. I know I'm a little late. Me and my wife celebrate our anniversary on the weekend, so I'm just now getting back. I did watch the game, though. And you know what? Michigan and Sharon Moore likes to keep it close to the vest. You know, they started out great and almost blew it. They almost blew it by being too conservative. And it gets to a point to where you got to play some football. You got to open up. You got to open up the playbook, and come on, you gotta throw in some high school passing, especially when they have 7 and 8 in the box, and they're just daring you to pass the ball, daring you. Basically, they're saying, if you beat us like this, oh well. So sometimes you got to take that chance just to keep them honest. Just to keep them honest. All right, so let's go through some of the stats because, you know what, Michigan fans, look, you can't have it both ways. Okay, I hear a lot of people talking about it's only 32 yards. It's only 32 yards. We need Davis Warren back. No, we don't. Because Davis Warren isn't good at anything. Davis Warren doesn't make the team better in any area. That's no slight to Davis Warren. He just doesn't. And, okay, he throws for 200 yards. He has 3 picks. We look terrible on offense. Can't do it. You can't do it. You can't turn the ball over. If Davis Warren plays in that game against USC, Michigan loses that game by 14 points. And really, to be honest, the 27-24 score was not a true summary on how dominating Michigan really was. There was a couple breakdowns in the secondary and a drop fumble from Kenneth Grant that turned that game. because Michigan was really dominating that game. They should have won that game by 14 points. A couple plays here and there, and everything changes, and all of a sudden we're behind. But we're behind because Sharon Moore is being a little too lackluster on offense. And I'm saying Sharon Moore, even though he's not the offensive coordinator, that'd be Kirk Campbell. But they have to put a package together that supports what Alex Orji does best. What he brings, they need to develop an offense around that, put the weapons around that, and just confuse the defense. Because like I said before, I think I said it 2 weeks ago, you don't have to be a great thrower of the football in college. You don't. Even at the D1 level, you don't. You just have to have a real good scheme and a quarterback who is competent to hit shallow crosses and every now and then out pattern and to test the defensive backs. So that's all you need. And we can do that. We really can. Let's go over some of the stats. Alex Orji was 7 for 12 for 32 yards, which is not great, but guess what he does not have? He doesn't have any turnovers. 0. Very important. He took very, very good care of the football. Very good care. They ran a flea flicker, and normally, with a play like that, it's normally open. And with somebody who doesn't get a lot of passing opportunities, he was probably looking for that. They started the play. He got the ball back from the tailback. He looked down there, and he was not open, and he did not force it. He did not force it. He brought the ball back down, ran with the ball. Very smart play. Very good play. And also, he was 7 for 7 underneath 10 yards, which is great. We need that. And he was over beyond 10 yards, but let's be real. If you guys watched the game, there was no separation from the wide receivers. None. And a couple times back there, more often than when I'm saying a couple, he was pressured. He was pressured. So just imagine if Davis Warren was back there, if Alex Orji is being pressured and he's mobile, how much worse would it have been if Davis Warren was back there just throwing the ball anywhere he can, throwing off his back foot, and probably letting another 2 or 3 interceptions happen. So I'm telling you, okay, the 32 yards, that's not great. I understand that. But the most important stat is the 0 turnovers. And when he did throw the ball down the field, when there was no separation, he threw the ball in a way to where only his receiver could get it or nobody could. So that is something that Davis Warren was also not doing. So very good from Alex Orji as far as managing the game in that aspect. Hey, he only can do what the coaches allow him to do. He only can. Let me get through a couple more of these stats and we'll go back and we'll touch on that. Khalil Mullins, great game. And I've said it the last couple weeks. Khalil Mullins probably needs to start. And I understand Donovan Edwards, who also had a good game, 14 carries for 74 yards and a touchdown. Alex ran 13 times for 43 yards. Khalil, 17 for 159, 2 touchdowns. Donovan has the big name. Donovan is that shiny prize. Okay? And I know that he's came out and said how he felt because Blake Corum came back and he thought it was his time, and then how the season went. Even though he was happy he got depressed because he wasn't performing the way he thought he should perform. And I know this season isn't going the way he would like it to go. And you don't want him to revert maybe back in that that mode, that attitude he was in. But you need to start Donovan Edwards in the slot. You need to start Khalil Mullings, running back one, and make plays for Donovan Edwards in the slot. Quick screens, reverses, go routes, especially when they're one-on-one. When they're playing 7-8 in the box, there's things you can do to make him very effective. Quickly, really nothing on the receiving part. Samaj Morgan had 3 receptions for 6 yards. Marlon Klein, 1 for 10. The defense, I've got a couple questions about it. They played better. They played better, but there's still a lot. It seems like there's a lot of confusion in the back half of the defense. I don't know what's going on back there. I know Will Johnson left, and they did not look good when Will left. They didn't. Seemed like there's too much confusion for these guys to be running the same premise, the defense, the same structure of it. I understand there are small things that have changed, but the structure, the base of it is the same. Wink Martindale, he's the creator of it, So for them to be so confused when they've played the same defense, they've learned the same defense for a couple years now, I don't understand what's going on. But USC on third downs had wide open wide receivers. And I'll touch on that too. Let me keep going. Jair Hill, Mason Graham both had 6 total tackles. Quentin Johnson, Zeke Berry, Ernest Hausman 5. Josiah Stewart, Barnum, and Rashawn Benny both had 4. Stewart, 2 big sacks. Mason Graham had 1. For USC, Miller Moss was 28 for 51 for 283 yards, 3 touchdowns. The 1 interception was the pick 6 by Will Johnson. I did not know Woody Marks had 100 yards, but that's what he had on 13 carries. But he did have a long of 65, so basically it was 35 yards on the other 12 carries. Zachariah Branch, 6 receptions for 98 yards. Jacoby Lane, 4 for 50 yards. Jay Fair, 3 for 42, and Woody Marks out the backfield, 5 for 40. Eric Gentry, their linebacker. Their 2 linebackers, they played a pretty good game, especially in the second half when USC really shut down Michigan. Eric Gentry had 12 total tackles. Easton had 7, and their cornerback Jalen Smith had also 7. I'm going to tell you what, that punter they got, he did a great job, man. He had a 53-yard average. He did very good at flipping that field from the 7 punts he had. Tommy Doman, he did a very good job, too. He averaged 49. He put 4 inside the 20. He did. He did that, and that helped us out, especially in the first half when it was hard for USC to even get a first down. So total yardage, USC did outgain us 379 to 322. Of course, like I said, they had more passing yards. Michigan had 290 rushing. They had 96. Turnovers, we both had 2 penalties. Michigan 3 for 25. USC 6 for 32. Time of possession basically the same. Basically 30 minutes apiece. Okay, where do we start? Quickly, let's hit on why people need to back off of Alex Orji. Okay? Stop looking at 32 yards passing. The first job for him is to take care of the ball. That's why he got the job this week, because Davis Warren was not. You guys are asking for people asking for this guy who had a shot, has 6 turnovers in 3 games. I mean, what do you want? What do you want? You want him to keep turning the ball? You want Michigan to... What do you... Listen, man. We won the game. It was ugly, especially the second half. We won the game. Alex Orji protected the football. That is what you want. He did what the offensive coordinator wanted him to do. So if you have a problem with Kirk Campbell, he called the plays. And nothing was forced by Alex, which was a great thing. Because what we didn't need to do is give our defense a short field, especially in that second half where USC was started to gain some momentum. So you guys need to back off. You know what? People who have played football and understand what people bring to a scheme, you understand how important Alex Orji is in the running game. See, when Davis Warren is in there, he does not make the offensive line better. And he is also someone that they don't have to worry about. Okay? It's either play action or he's handing the ball off. When Alex Orji is in the game, you have to worry about Alex Orji. You have to take him in account. Fake, jab step, it doesn't matter what he does. You have to take him into account. The linebackers and the safeties have to take him into account. The defensive ends have to take him into account. So, the defensive linebackers, the defensive ends, the safeties that are in the box, people, they can't react as fast as they could with Davis Warren. And if you're making defensive players hesitate, even for a split second, it helps your linemen who have to get up to that second level. They're chipping and they're able to get up to that block because of that half a second that these defensive guys have to wait to see if Alex has the ball or not, if he's keeping it or not. It's automatically going to help the offensive lineman. You're going to start to see more and more big runs because he has to be accounted for. You're going to see bigger runs when he has the ball, when he's doing quarterback sweeps right and left, because it brings another blocker in the backfield. Donovan Edwards is now blocking. Khalil Mullings is now blocking. So that helps on that extra safety or that extra linebacker that they bring into that box. It automatically helps the running game. And at least Alex coming in helps us somewhere. Because with Davis in the game, we're not good passing and we're not that good running. So you guys have to understand, stop looking at that 32 yards passing the football. Yes, it needs to get better. Guess what? It will. This was his first game. Okay? It will get better. But look at what he does for the offensive linemen. And I'm telling you, if Kirk Campbell has the guts, if Sharon Moore has the guts to move Donovan Edwards to the slot and run RPOs, run reverses, run quick screens with him, run goals, man, when they've got 7 and 8 in the box, okay, and you got a pistol back there with Khalil Mullings and Alex Orji, and you got Donovan Edwards running across, and you got a linebacker following him, or a strong safety, and you snap the ball and Donovan just turns up and he runs a go when they're playing one-on-one, I'll take that. I'll take it. And that's something we got to start doing anyway. Listen, and I don't want turnovers, okay? I was just talking about that. But there's nothing wrong sometimes with taking 50-50 shots. Because it seems like teams do it to us all the time. And it seems like half the time they come down with the ball. We're out there one-on-one, man, and we got all these people loaded up in the box. We got to give our guys a shot. Just run a go, and let's see what happens. Let's just see. We got to, because what that will do is it'll stop them from coming down so much. They're still going to come down because they're not worried about it. But if we hit 2 or 3 in one game, changes things. Really does. It changes things. But Alex is helping, and you're starting to see it. What good is us having a quarterback who throws for 300 yards and we still lose? I thought the name of the game was to winning. We won the game and you guys are complaining because we didn't have that many passing yards. Did you complain when we beat Penn State the same way last year? You're beating your chest. Oh, we ran it 32 straight times. Oh, man, smash mouth football. That's exactly what we did Sunday against USC. And we were able to get away with it. That's just as embarrassing as what we did to Penn State. USC knew we weren't going to pass the ball. And they still, well, I'll say most of the second half they stopped it. But when it was time to show up, we showed up and we got the job done. I promise you, man, some of you guys, you listen to outside people. Oh, you guys don't have a quarterback. You don't have this. 32 yards passing. Oh, 1955 football. Guys, we won a national championship last year playing that same way. I understand JJ would make the crucial third down passes. Guys, I really believe we're going to get there. Alex is not JJ. He can't throw like JJ. He will never be JJ. Never. But he can be competent. Guys, he threw the ball in the spring game, man. He can throw the ball. Okay? They just got to work it in. And they can't be conservative in doing it. Work in these small, short passes and then build off that. You know, it seems like ever since Drew Henson left, Denard Robinson ran them too. I haven't seen a screen pass to a tailback in I don't know how long. I think we need to get back to that because there's so many people in the box to stop all that pressure. Hey, man, let's run a couple screens. I digress. We just need to calm down, guys. Calm down. Calm down. Let Alex develop. We saw what Davis Warren was, and it's not good. We would have lost the game Saturday if Davis Warren was the quarterback. Plain and simple. And if you don't want to admit it, you just don't like the fact that Alex, is not a thrower of the football right now. He will be. He will be. Jalen Milroe is not a great thrower of the football. Jalen Milroe is not good at all throwing in the middle of the field. As far as anything from 10 to 20 yards, he's not good. A lot of Jalen Milroe stuff is down the field. We can do the same thing. But like I said, man, Alex makes it easier for the line, for the running backs. So I'm glad he's getting his shot. I'm glad he's getting his shot. Defense. Wow. Like I touched on earlier, we're running the same base defense. I understand Coach Wink has put his, own spin on it. One thing I am glad to see is that the blitzing has came down. This is not the NFL. See, in the NFL, guys rarely make mistakes. Guys know where they're supposed to be. This is college. And mistakes happen more often than not. When you're trying to blitz too much, or you're trying to put too many things in a scheme, or you're trying to be too tricky. We have great athletes. Play the base defense. Let our front four put pressure on the quarterback, and let's go from there. That's what we need to do. We don't need to constantly blitz because it cost us a touchdown late in the game against USC. You had twins down to the bottom, and you send a corner. There's only one out there, only one defender out there to cover two guys. We all know that's not how it was supposed to be. But when you're trying to be slick, things like this happen. There was no reason to do that. We had just played good defense, pressured them. The possession before that was the possession where I believe Stewart came around the end and hit Miller, made him fumble. Kenneth Grant picked it up. I wish he could have scored on that play, because if Woody Marks does not rip that ball out of his hands, he's got a convoy to the end zone. And when Grant picked it up, he was actually looking to pitch it to somebody. He looked to the right, was nobody there. And he just kept going. And Woody did the smartest thing he could have did in that situation. Trying to tackle him probably wouldn't have got him down. He just grabbed the ball. Big guys don't know how to put that ball away anyway. They normally run with two arms like they're hugging, and he didn't do that. Got it taken away from him. Very next play, wide open. If he picks that ball up, I believe it's 20-10 at that time. I believe. If he picks that ball up and scores, it's 27-10. The game is over. Defense played better, but still too many mistakes. And like I said, man, to me, make it simpler. Make sure these guys are able to react and they don't have to think. Because when our guys are reacting, our athletes are just as good as anybody that we're going to see. I think in the Texas game, Wink was trying to be too cute with a lot of things, man, and our guys weren't reacting. They were thinking too much. The first touchdown Miller Moss had, I believe, there were three guys in zone. They were in zone, and there were three guys around one person. He just sat right in the back of the end zone. That can't happen. He just sat in between three guys. Now, the one pass Miller threw to give them the lead, I believe we were in a cover two, and he just put the ball in between the safety and the corner. You don't like to see it, but there wasn't too much you can do about it. It was a great pass. You would have liked to see Jair Hill follow him in depth a little more on that, because, you can see if there's anybody in front of you. And it didn't look like there was. He let him go, passed him off, and in the middle of the safety getting there, Miller Moss put the ball where it was supposed to be. But the other one, the other two, where the wide receiver was wide open, and then the other one where, the guy just sat down in our zone. We got to do better. Barnum. I think Barnum and Makari Page missed important tackles, led to touchdowns. One led to the long run by Woody Marks. I believe that was Jayshon Barnum. He missed that tackle. I really expected Jayshon, man, to play a lot better than what he's doing. I really did. Ernest is doing a great job. Our linebackers, man, I thought they were going to rival the linebackers we had last year. It's not happening right now. I don't know if this scheme is too much for Barnum to pick up. He's just not comprehending it. I don't know. I don't know what is going on. But I just hope it gets better, for him as the season goes on, because he has all the tools to be an all-conference Big Ten linebacker. He really does. So I think coaching-wise, Sharon Moore, I'm happy he won the game. I'm happy he made the decision to switch quarterbacks. I think he waited a week too late. I'm glad he made that decision, and it looks like he's sticking with that decision. Alex is going to start against Minnesota, which is the only right answer to that question. He needs to come out of his shell. He needs to come out of his shell. We can smash the football. We can go right at teams. But, when there's 7 or 8 people at the line, when there's 8, 9 people in the box, and there's one-on-one out there, you got to tell Kirk Campbell, hey, throw it up. Throw it up. Throw it up. Let's give our guys chances. These wide receivers would like chances. There's wide receivers that's committed to Michigan for the next couple years. They're watching this. And I know this is not what they come to college for. They do not come to college to just straight block. You got to throw something down the field. You have to. And you got to show that against Minnesota. Take advantage early, get a lead, and you got to let Alex cook. You got to let him throw 20 times. You got to let him throw 20 times. Let him throw the ball down the field as long as we got control of the game. As long as we got control of the game. Now, the defensive line played great. Oh, you're talking about pressure. And that's what's so frustrating about Coach Wink. Because we can get pressure with the 4 that we have. Josiah Stewart finally showing up, man. Finally showing up. I said at the beginning of the season, man, I love that guy, man. That's the same guy who against Alabama last year in the playoff, in the final play, picked up the offensive lineman and threw him in the backfield. That's that same guy. And we're finally seeing that guy now. It took a couple weeks, but we're finally seeing that same guy. And you put him with Grant and Graham and more. He's coming along. That's a fearsome foursome, man. That's a fearsome foursome. And Wink needs to let that cook. Stop bringing so much help. Our guys will get there. They'll get there. And when they get there, they've got to start chipping. They've got to start leaving tight ends into block. They've got to start leaving running backs in the block. That's less people going out for routes, and we have more people in coverage. So I hope Wink makes adjustments. Even though the blitz has calmed down, I need him to do a little less blitzing. A little less. Um, I really don't have any thoughts on the game coming up. I think Michigan should win the game by double digits. And I think this is a time for us to see Alex Orji throw the ball, as I stated earlier. You got to get him some reps because Oregon's coming. And look here. People need to stop saying we just can't run people out the building. We can. We just did it. We just did it to a team who was ranked number 11. A team who was favored to beat us. We just did it. Okay? We did it last year. I know those guys are in the NFL. We did it last year against Penn State and a couple other schools. Yes, we can. Okay? Can we sit up here and just run the ball against Oregon? Yeah. Could we win doing that? Yeah. Because all we really got to do is break three. Think about it. If we run the ball 45 times, 50 times, more often than not, man, we're going to have 3 or 4 long runs. You know, you're looking for hopefully 6 to 7, but 45 runs, you're going to break a couple. And we've just been fortunate, like we were last game, that we scored on those runs. So we can't. Our defense is good enough to keep us in the game. We can't get too cute at times. When our defense they're hot, just let them cook. Let them cook. So we can beat Oregon like that. But it's not a favorable thing to do. People say this kind of football can't be sustained. Yes, it can. 32 yards passing can't. But 110 yards passing and 260 yards rushing can. So that's what I expect. I expect us to take care of Minnesota. And I expect us to be able to see what Alex can do in this offense. I expect them to put in a lot more for Alex this game. I also expect to see more Khalil Mullings and less Donovan in the backfield. I really hope, man, that they look at moving Donovan around to make us more dynamic. Because when you got all those guys on the field at one time, it causes a problem. Because if Donovan's going this way and Alex is going this way, you got to see if Donovan has the ball. So you got to stop, and you can't attack the way you want to because you got to make sure he doesn't have it. Now you get the RPO. Does Khalil have it? Did Orji keep it? We have weapons. We need to run plays that show we can be explosive. Make people look, where's the ball? Where's the ball? You know. So look, I thank you guys for joining me. Like I said before, do a favor for me. If you like the video, subscribe, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. What it does, it lets you know when I drop something new. And if you like it, please do me a favor. Share it. Share it. We're over 300 subscribers, trying to get to 500. And you doing this will help me get there a lot faster. So thank you. Till I see you again, have a great day and God bless.